Every game is free on DAZN.com/flashscore. That's DAZN.com/flashscore.
It is more interesting to follow the game with OneXBet. Sign up with the promo code FlashScore and get an increased bonus up to 189,280 naira.
That might be room for PSG to go for all his qualities. Fede Valverde, not a natural right back. And here's Neves, midway inside the Real Madrid hash. Raul Neves now to Ousmane Dembele. Doué makes a run ahead of him. Hakimi's in space on the right touchline, but Doué is going to attack Garcia and gets it across, but nobody in dark blue in the middle. And Raul Asensio's gifted the ball to Dembele. Goes round Courtois, is he fouled? Doesn't matter. Fabian Ruiz puts it in the net, and PSG have the lead on 6 minutes. A catastrophe at the back from Real Madrid. Gifts the ball to Ousmane Dembele. Question whether he was fouled by the goalkeeper, but Fabian Ruiz wasn't waiting for the answer to that question, and he slides it into the empty net. And the European champions lead here at MetLife Stadium after just 6 minutes. And Real Madrid, a disaster at the back for Xabi Alonso's men, has gifted them a goal here for the Parisians, as the smaller section of French supporters here make themselves heard. It was Doué who did brilliant work on the right hand side, but nobody at all in dark blue in the middle. Raul Asensio with a desperately heavy touch gives it away to Dembele. He was surely fouled by Courtois. The penalty probably would have come had the ball not been swept home by Fabian Ruiz. Dembele trying to go around Courtois. The ball broke for Ruiz and he slid it into the empty net left footed, and Paris Saint-Germain lead here in the Club World Cup semi-finals. Raul Asensio, the youngster who made his way into the Real Madrid side under Carlo Ancelotti this season and made that spot at centre-half his own, brought back into the team with the injury to, or the suspension, for Dean Housen. And 6 minutes into this game, he has given Paris Saint-Germain the lead here. This has been a stunning start to this game here in New Jersey. And it is the reigning European champions who lead this one. Now here's Mbappe behind against his former club in the centre circle. To Vinicius now, right corner of the penalty area. Real Madrid looking to respond quickly. It's for Garcia. Oh, right across the face of goal and out for a goal kick. Donnarumma and Marquinhos remonstrate as to who was picking up who there. Ultimately it doesn't matter, but that was so close. Vinicius putting it right into that corridor of uncertainty, past the slide of Beraldo and beyond Garcia and out for a goal kick on the far side. Wow, goodness me, I have not had a chance to catch my breath yet. This has been a wonderful opening 8 minutes of football. It's hot out there. Can both teams keep this level up for 90 minutes? We shall see. One can only hope, because this has been superb so far. Donnarumma all in bright green. The Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper clips one forward nicely onto the foot of Doué, but he's forced backwards by Garcia, and now Bellingham has it. First time we've really heard from Jude Bellingham in this game. And now it's meant for Dembele! Oh, it's 2-0 for PSG! Real Madrid gifting the ball away, and Ousmane Dembele slides one home.
Every game is free on DAZN.com/flashscore. That's DAZN.com/flashscore.
It is more interesting to follow the game with OneXBet. Sign up with the promo code FlashScore and get an increased bonus up to 189,280 naira.
Stunned, and Ousmane Dembele back into the side today in favour of Bradley Barcola, and he makes Luis Enrique look like a genius for that decision. This small gaggle of PSG fans here inside the stadium are making plenty of noise. There's Antonio Rudiger this time with the error. He tried to clear the ball, swiped at it and missed it, and you do not give chances like that to Dembele. He outpaced Rudiger and left-footed slid it into the bottom corner past the onrushing Courtois. And Real Madrid, a disastrous start for Los Blancos. Xabi Alonso looks stunned in the technical area. Bellingham with an easy pass to Rudiger. Dembele was closing him down, yes, but a defender of his quality must do better. And Paris Saint-Germain have punished Real Madrid in the most clinical of ways. An error by each of the centre-halves. First Raul Asensio and now Antonio Rudiger. And Paris Saint-Germain lead 2-0 here in East Rutherford in inside 10 minutes. What a start to this game for the European champions, but they have been gifted a pair of goals by Real Madrid's lacklustre defending. There's Nuno Mendes, almost caught out himself by Arda Güler, instead goes back to Donnarumma. Wow, Marquinhos now on the edge of the box to João Neves. What a signing he was last summer from Benfica, the young Portuguese international midfielder. 1-2 with Ruiz. Neves over halfway as the sun is blocked out by a passing cloud, maybe mercifully for the players in this heat, but the sun certainly has been blocked out for Real Madrid here in this opening 10 minutes. They are 2-0 down to Paris Saint-Germain. Fabian Ruiz and Ousmane Dembele taking advantage of disastrous errors at the back from Los Blancos, and now Doué, as he tries to cut inside, Fran Garcia is fouled, and Simon Marciniak, our Polish referee today, gives the free kick. Xabi Alonso cannot believe what he is seeing on the sideline from his still relatively new charges. And Luis Enrique's men continue their march in this tournament. Since that defeat, they started with that brilliant victory, as I was mentioning it there, over Real Madrid's bitter rivals Atletico, 4-0 at the Pasadena Rose Bowl. They were slightly disturbed by that defeat to the South American champions Botafogo, but since then have come back to beat Seattle Sounders 2-0, to beat Inter Miami 4-0, and then Bayern Munich 2-0. And now they lead 2-0 here, and Vitinha with the delivery, headed away by Garcia on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Vitinha happy to let it bounce out of play near the end of the Real Madrid dugout for a throw-in, as we see Xabi Alonso giving that universal symbol for to calm down, pressing his hands towards the ground. Luis Enrique.
Every game is free on DAZN.com/flashscore. That's DAZN.com/flashscore.
It is more interesting to follow the game with OneXBet. Sign up with the promo code FlashScore and get an increased bonus up to 189,280 naira.
Diniak having a word with Kylian Mbappe there, who, well, he scored over 40 goals in all competitions for Real Madrid this season. That was overshadowed by the fact that Carlo Ancelotti's side and the Italians last season in charge were very much the bridesmaids, runners-up in the Copa del Rey and La Liga, beaten quarter-finalists in the Champions League. And Mbappe, meanwhile, was watching on as his former club completed the treble, League, Cup and Champions League. That trophy that they have so long craved in Paris was won.
Every game is free on DAZN.com/flashscore. That's DAZN.com/flashscore.
It is more interesting to follow the game with OneXBet. Sign up with the promo code FlashScore and get an increased bonus up to 189,280 naira.
If we're seeing a look at Luka Modric on the bench today for Real Madrid, he knows that a defeat here will officially be his last game for Real Madrid. Likewise, Lucas Vazquez, both of them convinced to stay on for this Club World Cup after announcing that the 24-25 season would be their last. They've already said goodbye to the Bernabeu faithful, but Modric looks on, looking glum, knowing that his side have a lot of work to do if this isn't going to be his last game for Los Blancos. Bellingham now challenging with Neves, and Tchouameni and Doué fighting it out, and it's going to be a free kick to Real Madrid as Bellingham is fouled there in the end, I think, by Desiré Doué, who's just one of the great young players in the world. Doué, a part of that front three, along with Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, not to forget Bradley Barcola, who is on the bench today. A fairly short-handed PSG bench compared to Real Madrid. Real Madrid have 4 extra subs compared to the Parisians. Now here's Arda Güler, the left-footed free kick delivery. It's not a bad one. Good header away by Marquinhos, and that's going to drop for Antonio Rudiger, who, well, rather acrobatically and theatrically fell to the floor under challenge from Nuno Mendes, but no free kick coming. Mendes gives it away to Asensio. Now the centre-half finds himself on the right flank, tries to get the ball in, deflected to Mbappe, and he only finds Nuno Mendes. Now Kvaratskhelia to Ruiz, and he plays a rather strange pass that bounces off the back of Raul Asensio and goes to Aurelien Tchouameni. Now Arda Güler, Real Madrid, 15 minutes gone here now at MetLife Stadium. Maybe finally starting just to get a foothold in this game and stop the bleeding somewhat. Rudiger to Tchouameni. Given away again though by Real Madrid. Mendes now jinks through three players and goes forward and finds Doué and loads of room. Doué just slightly overruns that one, and Fran Garcia gets a touch in and gets it back to his goalkeeper. Doué fouls Garcia, and that's a free kick to Real Madrid just outside their own penalty area, which already they're in a hurry to get going with. Here's Güler, the Turkish international who he never fully earned the trust of Carlo Ancelotti. Played bit parts in his couple of seasons under the Italian in Madrid, but now seems to have earned the trust already of Xabi Alonso, playing in this midfield for Los Blancos. Gonzalo Garcia, I mean to mention him, what a tournament he's been having. 4 goals in 5 games for the 21-year-old who played just 3 games for the first team last season, 2 of those coming in the final 2 games whenever the league title was already wrapped up and on its way to Catalonia. Scored 25 in 36 for the B team in the 3rd tier last season. Thrown in thanks to the injury to Mbappe, and now here's a ball through for Hakimi and he's offside. Wow, Ousmane Dembele trying to play it through to his Moroccan fullback, but Hakimi just going a little bit too soon. In fact, he might even be coming back for an offside against Dembele. Take your pick there, but free kick Real Madrid. I mentioned Garcia scored 26 goals in 35 games for Real Madrid Castilla in the 3rd tier, and was thrown in at the start of this competition with the Kylian Mbappe's health an issue, and has scored in every game except the final group game, which is a 3-0 win over Red Bull Salzburg. Even that game he managed to get himself an assist. Real Madrid of course drawing 1-1 with Al Hilal in the opening group game before defeating Pachuca 3-1, Salzburg 3-0, and then this is their 3rd European giant really they've played in the knockout stage after beating Juventus 1-0 and Borussia Dortmund 3-2. They haven't found it easy getting this far, and it's even less easy today. They're 2-0 down here to the European champions. Now here's Ruiz out onto the left touchline for Kvaratskhelia, attacking Valverde again, left corner of the penalty, and now gets a shot away, blocked high up in the air off of Asensio, headed away by Tchouameni in the edge of his own box. Marquinhos sends it back, but Bellingham will come away, looks for the run of Vinicius, but his international teammate Marquinhos intercepts. Now Vitinha back to Beraldo, just 21 years old Beraldo, in for the injury to William Pacho. The Ecuadorian sent off in the quarter-final with PSG 1-0 up, and they ended up going on to win 2-0, even with Lucas Hernandez also being sent off. Here's Kvaratskhelia, Neves, now Vitinha, midway inside Real Madrid half. Vitinha plays one deep, good header away by Garcia with Hakimi lurking. Dembele gets to it in the right corner of the penalty area and plays it back to Vitinha. Now Lucas Beraldo back to Ruiz and Vitinha, former Wolverhampton Wanderers man of course. Neves back to Marquinhos, and PSG controlling the ball, dominating possession. Dembele though not quite in the same wavelength there as Hakimi. He was on his heels. Dembele was looking for him to run ahead, but Bellingham can let it run out for a throw in line with the edge of his own 18-yard box. As you see Gianni Infantino watching on. I mentioned in last night's first semi-final, I think on the whole he'll be happy with the success of this tournament. A few issues, including some of the earlier group games involving some of the, I don't want to use the term lesser, but perhaps say less well supported clubs were not always the most attendees at some of them, and the weather, which was a question mark in last year's Copa America hosted stateside ahead of next year's World Cup, it's only been exacerbated this year. We've had many a weather delay, most notably 2.5 hours in Chelsea's round of 16 victory over Benfica, as PSG come forward now to Kvaratskhelia, left corner of the penalty area. In he comes, Kvaratskhelia, such quick feet, onto his right foot, runs along the edge of the 18-yard box, running out of options there, so it goes back to Ruiz, about 30 yards from goal. Neves to Hakimi, who gets forward so well. Doué outside him, but Hakimi tries a shot and drags it wide. Courtois dived for it, but was never going to be troubled by that effort from Achraf Hakimi. And when you see the replay again, as he plants his left foot before hitting it, he almost sort of nudges the ball slightly, which maybe means it's a less crisp of a strike with his right foot. As mentioned, he's got 2 goals, Achraf Hakimi, in this tournament. look at some footballing royalty up there. Marcel Desailly. Also saw Ronaldo and Roberto Carlos earlier. Now here's Vinicius running through the middle. Route 1 football from Real Madrid. Oh, what a tackle. Nuno Mendes coming across just as Vinicius is pulling back his leg to have the shot. Nuno Mendes takes the bouncing ball away from him. But not often you see Real Madrid go route 1, but Thibaut Courtois straight down the middle. Also not often you see the PSG defence being caught out by a simple long ball. They were indeed, though, as Beraldo and Marquinhos let their Brazilian compatriot Vinicius Jr. run through the middle of them. But Nuno Mendes sweeping across takes it away from him, and now PSG have the ball with Vitinha. Looks for his options and plays it back to his international teammate for Portugal, Nuno Mendes. Now Kvaratskhelia, who really is one of the great talents in world football, of course signed in January from Napoli, meaning that he gets the honour of having a Serie A winners medal and a Liga winners medal, having played enough games for both teams to earn them. Quite the feat. Now Vinicius delivers one to the back post, where over the head of Mbappe, and as Garcia was ghosting in behind, Hakimi saw him and just chested away calmly. Vitinha now to Kvaratskhelia. Back to Vitinha. PSG midway inside their own half, under pressure from Güler. Goes back to Nuno Mendes, and now Fabian Ruiz. Ruiz to Marquinhos on the edge of his own box, and now Hakimi sends one down the line, looking for the run of Doué. So quick, Desiree Doué. Fran Garcia is at full tilt there. Doué barely looks like he's sprinting, and he beats him to it. In the corner now, Doué and Garcia. Doué holding off Fran Garcia here, waiting for support to come. He turns away and then finds that support. Brilliant football there from Desiree Doué. Now it's with Ousmane Dembele, scorer of the second goal, as he capitalised on an error by Antonio Rudiger. Out to the left corner now of the penalty area for Kvaratskhelia, faced up by Valverde. Kvaratskhelia, ooh, look, went for the back heel. Ball to Ruiz, didn't work out. Valverde stuck to him well, but a bit of a battle there. Ruiz goes back and gets the ball. Valverde was looking for the foul there by the Spaniard, but not coming from Simon Marciniak. And now it's with João Neves. We're right halfway through this first half here at MetLife Stadium. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Real Madrid 0 in the FIFA Club World Cup semi-final, for the right to face Chelsea here again on Sunday to try and be crowned champions of the world. PSG have already done France and Europe. Why not go one step further? Here's Hakimi now in the right touchline, back inside the Dembele. Oh, he leaves that one short, gives it away to his former teammate and strike partner Mbappe. Now Kylian Mbappe's fast and he's on his bike. Dembele goes back with him, now Marquinhos as well, but Mbappe cuts inside on his right foot into the penalty area. Mbappe, and his shot takes a big looping deflection off Marquinhos and drops nicely into the gloves of Donnarumma. Mbappe there just giving the PSG players a reminder of what he can do, but Marquinhos knows rightly what he can do, and he stuck with him well. And got a big deflection on the shot that made it a simple stop for his Italian number one behind him, who was the unfortunate man involved in the collision with Bayern Munich's Jamal Musiala in the quarter-finals that saw the German international come off with a rather horrific and gruesome ankle injury. Donnarumma, and he's going for a loose ball. Donnarumma dived on it, and just at that moment Musiala sort of got his ankle caught in the turf, and Donnarumma fell on it. It's just one of those horrible accidents, but Donnarumma was quite visibly affected by it, as were many PSG and Bayern players. But Musiala has come out of surgery today on that ankle, said nobody to blame at all. Dembele now in behind for Hakimi. Hakimi's going behind Asensio. He plays a nice first time ball across there for Ruiz. Was he hauled back? Doesn't matter. Ruiz has his second, PSG's third, and they are ripping Real Madrid's heart and soul right out of them here in New Jersey. That is a stunning counter-attack for Paris Saint-Germain, and on 24 minutes they lead this Club World Cup semi-final by 3-0. It has been a quite staggering start to this game for the Parisians, for the European champions. Hakimi in behind played it unselfishly across to Fabian Ruiz when he thought he could have a shot, but Ruiz did superbly to finish for his second of the game, PSG's third, and the Real Madrid majority inside this stadium are in stunned silence. Beautiful 1-2 between Dembele and Hakimi. The Moroccan in behind, first time to Ruiz, who held off the challenge of Valverde and clinically finished into the bottom corner. He had Kvaratskhelia with him. He didn't need him. That is superb all round from Fabian Ruiz, and this PSG team, who tore Inter to shreds in the Champions League final, are now tearing Real Madrid to shreds in the FIFA Club World Cup semi-final. What a game so far. Luis Enrique and the PSG bench celebrate wildly. Fabian Ruiz has at the double. What a player he is for this PSG side. And Real Madrid are being absolutely gutted here, as their supporters, their players, their manager cannot believe what they're seeing. Xabi Alonso is furious on the sideline. Well, he lurches between being furious and being incredulous, not quite knowing what to do. But PSG know exactly what to do. The first two, they were clinical and taking advantage of errors. That time, they just ripped Real Madrid to shreds on the counter with one-touch football between Dembele and Hakimi, and then Ruiz settling himself in the penalty area for the finish. And on 25 minutes, believe it or not, this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final, it is Paris Saint-Germain 3, Real Madrid 0. And this is about as one-sided as you could have imagined, perhaps even more one-sided than you could have imagined coming into this. Some had Real Madrid even down as favourites for this, despite the fact they were playing the European champions, but that has not been the case so far. Again, the cloud covers part of the pitch here, and the cloud is certainly following Real Madrid around here today. This PSG team under Luis Enrique, everybody said they were different. That Galacticos team that they had with Neymar, Messi, Mbappe and more, that were beaten in the 2022 round of 16 by Real Madrid, the last time these two sides met in a competitive fixture. That team that always got so far but could never get the hallowed Champions League trophy. That team went through so many managers, winning league titles year in, year out, but falling at so many hurdles in Europe. They did it this year. They shook off that Galacticos tag. They got a team that worked, a young team, a hungry team, a fast team, and an electric team here for PSG. And they are doing it again to Real Madrid, who this season, or the season just gone, were the perennial bridesmaids, runners up in the league, runners up in the cup, and beaten in the quarter-finals of the Champions League. A very un-Real Madrid-like season. They look to be cresting just at the right time in this tournament, but they have run into an absolute steam